Video games are dead. Companies don't make good games anymore. They're all boring, unoriginal, tedious cash grabs. They're just not fun. And don't get me started on indies now. They're still 2D. 2D! Metal Gear Solid understood 2D sucks 46 years ago. That's why it's called Solid, cause it makes me very hard. What's this Return of the Obra Dinn? Well, it should have returned to where it came from. Am I right, fellas? That's why we need to refuse to buy this crap and demand for the good stuff. We need to ask for more remakes. How else can we play good games? See this thing, Sony? I want you to sell me exactly that, but with shiny graphics. There we go. Now I can have fun. Remakes are just the best and... Wait, what's this? A remake of the first Tomb Raider? But that's wrong. There wasn't a grappling hook in the original Tomb Raider. No. Wait a goddamn second. This is unacceptable. This is a travesty. This is not a remake. This is something new? Oh yeah, let me tell you how remakes used to actually change the original game. Blasphemy, I know, but sometimes it actually worked. In fact, it should still be like that. That game that made your childhood beautiful is right there and you can play it. But here's this funny guy who also loved the game and tells you, "Hey kid, it's nice seeing someone else appreciating the Smurfs game on PS1, so here it is, a brand new take on the original." Wow. You mean that I can revisit scenarios and characters I hold dear while actually playing a game that feels new and different? That's incredible! What? New and different? No. It's gonna be the exact same game, but with new graphics. Well, what's the fucking point then? Remakes should be a chance to bring back games, but also to improve or refresh them in a sensible way. Persona 3? I love it, but it's also very messy. The remake, however, fixed part of the story and the combat. The Witcher 1? Yeah, The Witcher 1 is barely playable, okay? It's intriguing to observe, but I could say the same about Roadkill or a Twitter thread made by a user with an anime profile pic. The remake could potentially turn the untapped potential of the original into something great. Wanna know another game that could use a nice remake? The original Deus Ex. Imagine Deus Ex, but the stealth doesn't suck a massive dong. Okay, slowly. Very slowly. I'm almost there. What? Where are you going? Tell me you wouldn't buy that. And nothing should stop a remake from reinventing the original. Final Fantasy VII? Brilliant game. Turn-based bonanza. It felt so good it was like drinking chocolate milk. Final Fantasy VII Remake? Completely different game. There's Cloud, there's the doggy, there's Booba, but the game is something else. You might like it, you might not. Doesn't matter, you can pick which one you prefer. That bullshit ending with those stupid-ass ghosts? It was dumb, but the original Final Fantasy VII hasn't been magically rewritten. You don't want the ghosts? Play this one. No matter what the final result is, I'd rather pay full price for something new and unpredictable rather than a goddamn copy-pasted product. And I blame this entire mentality to one bloody phrase.
Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl are faithful adaptations of the original.
Mario RPG's new 3D graphics are impressively faithful to the original,
and Dead Space remains fairly faithful to the original game.
Faithful to the original? Can we put this one right next to "This game makes you feel like Spider-Man" in the pantheon of meaningless journalistic fluff? Okay, seriously, take a moment and think what this means to you. Resident Evil 2 Remake and Mario RPG Remake. Which one is faithful to the original? Resident Evil 2 Remake is still a horror with Leo DiCaprio navigating through the weirdest police station in all of America, but it controls differently. It even has different plot points. Now, is Mario RPG Remake faithful to the original? Well, it's got the same story, the same gameplay, the same... It's the same goddamn game. Which one of these two feels like an actual product you wouldn't feel ashamed of selling? Please vote now, and if you didn't pick Resident Evil 2 Remake, you're a hippopotamus. This is a remake. This is something I refuse to put in the same category. I want to call them cash grabs, but I'll be gentle and use the term one-to-one remake. And these games are as useful as a glory hole pointed towards a room full of Silent Hill 2's nurses. Oh, RoboKnob, but can't you see? Look, Mario doesn't look like someone spat marmalade all over his face. There are new game assets. That makes it a remake. Alright, if you wanna talk semantics, I'm going to entertain you. Yes, it's a graphic remake. La-dee-da, it looks much nicer now. Great. But can I ask you something? What is a game asset? This is an asset. And this is also an asset. This thing you can't even see in the game, it's an asset. This strangely shaped hot dog? Also an asset if I import it in my project. Everything is an asset. So if your concept of remake stops at they modify the assets, well, how do you call this? This version of Metroid Prime looks pretty nice, huh? And look, even with my color blindness, I can clearly see that the texture assets are bloody different. How did they call this? Metroid Prime Remastered. Not remake, remastered. And I'm gonna show you a real-life money glitch to become rich in one easy step. Boom, easy money. With some remakes, you're literally paying for a change in semantics. See? Told you I would have entertained you. But they added post-game boss fights. Dude, you matter. You're a person with value. Don't sell yourself so short. They repurposed the base game bosses and cranked up the difficulty. I'm not saying it's bad per se, but that should not justify the full price they're asking. Listen, I'm not telling any one of you you're dumb for wanting to replay a game you cherish with shinier graphics. I understand that, but that shouldn't mean we should lower our standards. And some of those games still look pretty good. Just go and play the originals. It's not like they're disappearing into thin air, right? Right? Games are disappearing, and that's the real crime here. One-to-one remakes are slowly becoming the only way we can revisit some of them unless you go through the whole emulating hassle. Wanna play the original Silent Hill 2? Well, you have to get a PS2, or emulating it, or get a PS3 to play that broken remastered version that sucks ass. That's why what I really hope is that more games get proper remastered versions with proper pricing.
But RoboKnob, if you're saying that some games are disappearing, but you're also saying that one-to-one remakes are basically the same thing, it's still a good compromise, right?
Good point, good point. But see, one-to-one remakes are pretty much a work of restoration. It's very technical and a crucial part of it is trying to keep the style of the original. Take this painting. It's ruined. A dog left a bite here and like 50,000 birds pooped all over it. Now let's check out the restored version. Well, the lady that made this clearly removed the scratches, and now it's all more colorful. But you might notice that Jesus Christ is tripping balls now. Just because it looks clean, it doesn't mean you made a good job. So, where am I going with this? This remake sucks. Hear me out, okay? This game plays like the original. The plot is the same, the original controls are still there, it's identical, but now it looks very nice and you can see more than 6 frames per second. But the art direction? Ruined. The original Shadow of the Colossus had a very specific lighting. It was purposefully unrealistic. It was ethereal, magic even. It was like you were stepping in a world not made for humans. This is cool looking, but also a lot more bog standard, mute and unremarkable. If your entire job is exclusively enhancing the graphics and you screw up the original artistic direction, you fucked up. And I see you sneaking in with your remarks.
What if the blurry, strange lighting was actually the result of graphical limitations?
Well, yeah, you might be right. It's a shame we don't have 2 other games from the same director, one of which on a much more powerful console and both still use the same kind of unrealistic lighting. Oh wait, we do! And that's not the only small but noticeable change. The stamina ball here and the HP bar used to become gigantic, covering half the screen. I don't know if it was intentional, but it felt like a way to show through the UI how the protagonist was absorbing the Colossi souls. PS4 version? You get these 2 freaking chopsticks. But now this is the version that new players will remember. This is what Shadow of the Colossus is today. It's supposed to replace the original, but this replacement doesn't match what the original vision was. If you believe that video games are a form of art deserving respect, you should probably care about this too. Let remakes be remakes with their own identity. Ask for remasters to be respectful, and gaming industry, hear me out. Deadly Premonition remake. Don't fuck up the Gex remaster. And I don't know, maybe stop laying off the people that actually make your games.